just held onto the green. So you can see I'm in a slightly different location today. On holiday in Bournemouth, beautiful Bournemouth, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So today we're going to be covering bunker shots, you would have guessed. What to do, how to get the ball out the sand every time. I get so many golfers where they're struggling, leaving the ball in the sand. Now here's going to be very difficult because I have got a ton of sand, but this is the common mistake I see. So golfers, in my opinion, are trying to strike too much down. They're focusing on that 2 inches behind the golf ball, which is good, correct contact point for sure, but they're trying to hit down into the sand. And they tend to take big divots, they tend to go in with the leading edge of the wedge. And they're really not using the loft, they're really not using the bounce. They tend to get that digging action, that digging motion. Now a lot of golfers will go, well, I don't have this much sand in the bunkers, but this is still true whatever, whether there's more or less. And obviously there's going to be a differing at your golf club because they're going to refill the bunkers, aren't they? Probably every year or two in around April, May time, they're going to refill the bunkers, then you suddenly end up with a lot more. So you need to know how to cope with different situations. And the most common mistake I see is golfers digging, taking too much sand, not getting enough energy out. So rather than focusing on striking down, I want you to imagine that you are moving that sand towards the green. Now, if we do that, rather than focusing on hitting down, we're actually moving the sand. To do that, we need some upward energy as well. So we've got to make sure that we finish nice and tall with our body, that we're rotating and finishing up. We're not staying down here too much. So the finish position is key, and it does worry golfers making that longer movement through the golf ball because they're worried about overshooting, overhitting it. But remember that most of the energy is lost in the sand. So we actually need, considering I've only got a short shot, I've put out here a very temporary flag and sketched myself a little green about 10 yards in front of me. Now, especially when there's a lot of sand, I need a lot of energy into the sand to get that ball 10 yards. So I'm going to be making a good shoulder height to shoulder height, but my focus point is going to be moving that sand out towards the green, finishing nice and tall. Now, there's a couple other things we're going to do at setup that I'm going to discuss, but let's just try and do that first of all. Still that contact point of 2 inches, as you were thinking, but let's move the sand towards the green. That was really good. I've overshot a little bit there, but actually probably the better strike of the 2 shots I've hit. You saw a lovely high flight, and hopefully you'll have seen there me finishing very tall, very upright, and moving that sand. Now that's a very different thing because that divot is shallow, and that's what we really want to see, a shallow divot into the sand, not down, dig, dig, dig. So rather than focusing on a downward action, I want you to focus on a through action with the real focus point being here, moving the sand towards the flag, finishing tall. Now there are a couple other things, simple things I can do at setup. So opening the club face. Now some golfers worry about that, but remember it doesn't really affect the direction. The ball's coming out in the direction of the divot more than the direction of the club face, because I'm not striking the ball, I'm striking the sand. That's the key part to remember here. So actually opening the club face uses the loft, but it also uses that bounce angle of the golf club so we can get that golf club skimming and sliding into the sand rather than downward digging. So let's open the club face to counteract or offset the fact the club face, yes, will be, for me as a right-hander, pointing more to the right. I'm going to lower my handle down here. So I'm going to drop my hands that little bit lower. That helps also. If you do open the club face, I would open it before you get your grip on, because if anything with that trail hand, you'd want it more on top of the golf club here. So the more you can get that trail hand over, the better. It helps going to keep that club face open. Almost going to feel a very weak grip. And then we've just got to make sure, because we've got a lot of loft here, that we do commit to a very full move. Now I'm not hitting it hard, but I am making quite a full swing. So let's hit one more. Trail hand on top, my club face is open, my hands are nice and low. Now my focus point is just like I said on the last one, move the sand towards the green, finishing nice and tall, not staying down here frozen. So club face is open, trail hands on top, and I'm going to focus on moving the sand. There we go. That's my closest. All three of those I'd take, however, shallow divots, definitely moving the sand, moving the energy towards the target. That's the focus point I really want you to take away. Hope you enjoyed this content, something a little bit different from me. If you have, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content just like this.